Hey guys, Ramblin Bob here again. So I want to talk to you today about a new well, it's an old power station, but it's new to me. I kind of missed it when I was dealing with Pecron. They have, I think, about eight power stations if you count the batteries. They used to have, I think, one more. There was 9 of them, and now there's only 8. But anyway, this is the S1500. This is a power station that I think I overlooked. It's a lithium-ion battery. Now, people that follow this channel know that I'm not a 100% fan of lithium-ion batteries. I think the best thing about them is the power density is higher than lithium iron phosphate. And they're much, well, can't say much, but they're definitely lighter than lithium iron phosphate batteries. But this is it right here. It's the S1500 portable power station, super fast charging. I've never seen it before other than it caught my eye because of the price per watt hour. Guys, this system is literally twice of what a watt hour is from my electric company. I'm in the Midwest. I'm about 16.5 cents per watt hour right now. And this comes out at 34 cents per watt hour. Just to show you, let me grab a calculator. And I thought this would be a perfect power station if you don't have the money to get into the big ones and you need like a good chunk of power for an emergency, and you don't use it as many times as you would a lithium iron phosphate that has up to 3,500 cycles to 80%, where this one would have anywhere between 500 and 1,000 at 80%. Now, after 80% doesn't mean that you lose the battery. Excuse me. It just means that you lose 20% of the reserve power. So if you were at 1,500, then it would drop down to approximately 1,300 watt hours. And then you just continually use it as that power slowly fades away over time, like all batteries do. If you remember old AA's or AAA's or D's or C's or whatever you used back in the days, your rechargeables, they don't always hold the battery capacity when since when they were once new, of course. So here you have a $499 system, and then it's a 1,461 watt hour little box right there. So if you hit enter, 34.2 cents per watt hour. That's literally less than double what my electric company charges for electricity per watt hour right now. I think this would be, now don't get me wrong, I love this system, this E600 LFP. I love this system for 300 bucks, but almost 3 times the power, well, 2.5 times the power. This is a pretty good buy. This one really caught my attention, as well as the E2000. I have both, and the new one, the E1500, because of the price per watt hour. It's about 65 cents or so, maybe 60 cents, depending on the sales. Like, let's see, $2.99 divided by, I think that's 614 watt hours. Well, it's actually about 49 cents per watt hour. So that's very low for this one. This is a winner to me. I have it. I love it. I've used it. You can see, go back in the videos. I showed a live wrestling event on the spot with this little box, and you know what? It made it. I was dumbfounded by such a small box running that much equipment. And then, as everyone knows on this channel, this is the reason that I started the channel, the E2000 LFP. This is my favorite system right now out there. This, as far as the size and portability, this as far as the price, the power, and the options. This one I have not yet tested yet. I'm hoping to get one of those from Pecron. Hopefully, if they see these videos, guys, thumbs up, like the video, and then they can send me one to test. I'd love to test it for you guys. A full system is like approximately, I think, $3,500. So still saving the pennies to hopefully get one of those, unless Pecron wants to sponsor this this channel and send me one of those. I'd be happy to do a review, obviously. But this one I paid paid for the entire thing. It was about $4,500. I still use it every single day, 24 hours a day. It runs my workshop. It's running the laptop and the lights and the video and the audio equipment that I'm making this video on. But let's go back to this one here. As I said, I never noticed this one because I jumped past it because I went right for lithium iron phosphate. But at 34 cents per watt hour, man, that's a steal, guys. Like if you don't use it all the time, you know, 500. Let's see, 500 cycles would get you divided by. Let's say you used it. Let's say you used it once a week. You know, just for argument's sake. So once a week. You got 500 cycles on the low. That's a very low end, guys. That's if you really, you know, beat up a power station pretty bad. Times 52. That's once a week. It'll last you 10 years if you use it once a week. So if you used it every single day, obviously that'll last probably about 2 or 3 years, you know, give or take, till it drops down to 80%. But for $500, guys, that is a lot of power for an emergency. It really is. All right, let's go through the pictures real quick here. Can we make them bigger? No, okay. So the front and the back, you have 3 outlets for the AC. Here's your big vent, and here's your vent fan. We'll look in a little bit more detail with bigger pictures as we go on. I just want to kind of see the pictures here. That's on a beach. You know, these pictures are always funny to me, guys. To have this in a beach, guys, I don't do that, please. If sand gets inside there, it just wreaks havoc on all the circuitry and all the boards and everything. Sand can contain heat. It's a very good insulator for heat. If you guys ever looked up a sand battery, go look at a sand battery. If you pack a bunch of sand in a 50-gallon drum and heat it, it will hold that heat for many hours. It's literally a furnace. So be careful of sand, okay? Metal shavings, of course, dust, it all withholds heat. But sand is a very good insulator for heat. Let's see. Okay, this guy's working on a blender, and this looks like a crock pot kind of thing, or a slow cooker. This looks like a crock pot back here. And here's a cooler. As far as those mini fridges, I want to pick up a mini fridge. I'm waiting for that. Here's your 1461.6 watt hours. Guys, you have to be pretty bold to put a point anything on any rating. That's 1/10 of a watt. 1/10 of a watt hour. That's pretty bold to put that on there. Okay, let's just look through the pictures here. And then we're looking the schematics and everything in the specs on the bottom, which is my pair. Okay, that's all the pictures, I think. Yep, that's all right. We're done. So let's go right down to the specs. It's a $500 system. Lightweight, no noise, no pollution. That's always a misconception, guys. Pollution. If you look how they mine lithium for these batteries, that's a lot of wear and tear on the environment. But once you have it, of course, then it doesn't create any more issues until you dispose of it, of course. So you have 400 watt charging max. That's what the E600 LFP can charge at. It says 400. I got it to 395 watts max. That's the most I've ever got. 400 watts solar. Now your VOC is 32 to 45. That's something to look into, guys. So that's like either two 12-volt panels or one 24-volt panel. So, always be careful, guys, and make sure that you have your polarity right, which is your positive, negative, because you could really wreak havoc. I don't know if this has a safety on this machine for that. So what I like to do is get one of those, those little meters, a little DC meter. You see them on Amazon, and I always check through that to make sure that my polarity is correct before I hook it up to any power station. Even if I know that it's correct, I like to do that as a backup plan. You always like to have backup plan. You can charge from the AC adapter from 3 to 4 hours. You can charge it in 4 to 5 through solar. So if you had full sun for an entire day on a 400 watt array, at 15 watt max, so you can push pretty good amperage in there, but 450 watts max input. You can get it in about 4 to 5 hours. So that's one solar day, guys. So you can do this, and I think something like this would be great for, as I said, a absolute emergency, or 15 to 18 hours of DC charging in your car. So, like say you had this box and you just threw it in your your closet, in your back room, whatever, your workshop, and you had an emergency. You got almost 1.5 kilowatts of power, which would get you through the day, which includes lights, phones, radio charging for like walkie-talkies and whatnot. 1500 watts, depending on the AC output, which we'll look at in a minute. You could run small devices like rice cookers, very small microwaves, possibly, depending on the amperage and the wattage. I think something like this is just a really good idea to have as an emergency. I'm a big fan of lithium iron phosphate, and Pecron has a ton of those now. They have 3 systems now that have that, and 2 batteries, so that would consist of 5 systems, because you can use the batteries as standalones. Let's see, so you have a 1500, so okay, so you have a 1500 watt inverter in there, 450 max charging. You have surge up to 3000 watts, so that would definitely run a small microwave. So if you have, like, you know, one of those 700 watt microwaves, now guys, they actually pull about 1000 watts from the wall, and then they use actually 700 watts in the actual microwave. You have a conversion loss in microwaves. You have 9 versatile outputs, lithium-ion batteries to 1000 cycles to 80%. Okay, so they say 1000 plus. So let's redo the math here. Let's look at this. We're going to do 499 divided by 1000 cycles. And plus, I rate them anywhere between 500 and 1500, depending, well, maybe 1200, depending on how you use your battery. If you abuse your battery, of course, your recycle your cycle count will obviously dip very far, because you're abusing the battery. It's the same as you abuse a car. If you treat a car badly, the engine gets beat up and it gets worn out much faster than just, you know, turning it on, going to work, turning it off. You know what I mean? Being that grandpa driver, that, you know, babies, or you know, the little old lady you see in the movies that, you know, goes to the shopping mall. Their cars last 50-60 years because they literally don't beat them up, and they drive very slow, and they don't, you know, race around the corners like, you know, kids do and everything. So a battery will last much longer if you don't mistreat it, guys. Once it gets down to about 20%, start charging it. You know, try not to let a battery get too low, because if a battery gets too low, you risk damaging the cells. I'll give you another prime example that this can, if people don't understand batteries, that you can relate to. Say you're running a marathon, okay, and you're running that 26 miles or whatever it is. I never ran one; it's too far. But now, say that last mile, you really push your body too hard. That's the point where damage will occur, and most likely will happen, because that's the part of the battery, the part of the system, if you will, your body, that's really beat up and tired. And that's what a battery does. You know, it gets stressed out, and then if you push it that last 20% heavy, that hurts your battery cells. The same as running that last mile in that marathon will hurt your muscles and all your tendons and everything, because they've been stressed to the point of you know, no return, if you will. Which is why, like I said, you always see most injuries in the last mile of a marathon. You know, as opposed to, you know, the first 10 or 15. You know, you're not stressing your body so hard. Okay, so 1000 divided by, I'm sorry, 499 divided by 1000. Oops, I did it the wrong way here. 499 divided by 1000 cycles is, wait, I'm doing it wrong. Hold on. Oh, wait, I'm doing the whole wrong thing. I'm sorry. Okay, 1000 divided by 52, which is once a week, right? 50, holy cow. Boy, I'm having a tough time with the the calculator. Okay, so 52. You can tell I haven't made videos in a while, guys. I apologize. Okay, so that will last approximately 19 years. Now, the lifespan usually is about maybe 10 years on a lithium-ion battery, depending on, as I said, how you use them. So if you were to, you know, bump that up and use it twice a week, right, for that 1000 cycles. So you're going to do 104 now, because that's twice a week, right? That's 9.5 years, guys. I think this power station at $500 is a steal for that amount of money. And as I said, I'm not a big fan of lithium-ion batteries, but boy, if you want to get in the business of learning about this stuff, it only weighs about 28 pounds, 27.5 pounds. I think something like this, if you're really on the fence of getting a power station, I'd highly recommend the E600 LFP. However, there's limitations to that one because you can't run things like, you know, big things. You know what I mean? It stresses the system a little too much. It's a 600 watt inverter, and it can go up higher. Actually, is it a 1200 watt inverter? Boy, I have to go back and look again. Let me open this up just so I have all my information correct here, because you can really easily, oh, 1200 watt. Okay, so you have a 1200 watt inverter and a 2400 watt surge. That's a mean little box. So as far as the weight, that was 20 pounds. This is only 27 pounds, and it has a lot more battery reserve than the other one does. But you can also charge it up to 450 watts max, where the E600 LFP, you can only charge it 400, which I've only gotten 395 max. But I don't have this system yet, so I haven't fully checked all these specs. Okay, so let's go to the specs and see what they say. Okay, so it's rated power at 1500 watts. Peak power is 3000 watts with 10 milliseconds. So at least they rated this one, guys. That is not long, guys. That's 1/10 of a second. Okay, so I believe that's what that is, 1/10 of a second. So it basically, you have less than a second to push that high, and most things need more than a second, you know, for peak power. So like if you're trying to run you know, a microwave or an air conditioner that is past 1500 watts, just don't. It's too much strain on the battery anyway. 1461 watt hours. Your AC input is obviously, it says pure sine wave input. That means there's a nice inverter in there that converts it from 110 60 hertz into the battery. You have PV input, that stands for solar panels, guys. VOC from 35 volts to 45 volts. I wish this was higher, I really do. It would be nice if that was up to 60 or 95 volts, like the E600 LFP and the E2000 LFP and the E1500 LFP. Those have a much higher input as far as voltage. It gives you more opportunities and options when it comes to doing your solar array and things like that. Lithium ion batteries, guys, like I said, I think the only two good things about them, actually three. One is the power density per watt hour is stronger on lithium ion than lithium iron phosphate. But you do have your downside, which is less cycles than lithium iron phosphate. You also do have the volatility of the battery chemistry is much more volatile than lithium iron phosphate. But the other plus would be the weight. The weight is definitely noticeable. It's not like a ton noticeable, but you will definitely notice if you had two power stations in front of you and they were 2000 watt hours, and you picked one up. Lithium iron phosphate, I have one that's about 50 pounds, and if it was lithium ion, it would be probably about 40 pounds. So that 10 pounds really makes a difference if you can't carry 50 pounds. Okay, we saw the capacity 1000 cycles. You have 27.5 pounds. So there's your weight if you want to put another, you know, say about 540 watt hours on here. This would be about 35 to 36 watts depending on the inverters and everything that's in the system. So as far as weight, that's a plus. DC output's 12 volts. The dimensions is about 16.5 inches by 11 by 15.2 inches. The car input is 12 to 18 volts at 100 watt max. So that's basically your car cigarette lighter. You can power dump from a system where I showed you in the past, where you can go out the XT60 of the EB3000, and you can you know, put 100 watts into that system to charge it, and that way you can leave your EB3000 hooked to solar panels all the time, and then that keeps it regulated and full whenever you need it. Charge temperature is 0 Celsius. Well, I don't like Celsius, guys, because I never understand it. This is freezing point, 0 to 45 Celsius. 32 is freezing point for North America, and the Fahrenheit system, up to 113 degrees. Guys, that is hot. Hopefully you'll never have to work in an environment that hot. I have. It's very hot, and it's very frustrating to be in a building where it's that hot. For your discharge is -4, so that actually goes a little bit below freezing, which is nice if you need a battery in a work environment that is very, very cold for a short time. And then all the way up to 113. Hopefully, like I said, you don't have to be into, you know, a situation like that, guys, because that really sucks. Yeah, I just wanted to show you this, guys. As far as what's in the box, I didn't see that. They didn't list what's in the box. I'm gonna assume, which you should never assume, but I'm gonna assume that you probably get. Yeah, I don't see what's in the box. AC charger from the wall. I don't know if it's a brick or if it's straight in. I'm gonna assume it's a brick because this is an older model. Like I said, the only reason, let's see, I'm still looking for, so it doesn't have what's in the box. That's crazy that they didn't list that. Here's a picture. So here you go. Here's a Jackery. I'm not sure what that is. This is, okay, so this is a 1500 Jackery according to this fella. Comparable to a Jackery 1500. That's the 1500. So you can see it's a little bit lower, possibly a little bit wider than the Jackery 1500. Jackery products are very expensive, I noticed. That's a very pricey toy. I'm really surprised that they didn't list what's in the box. And you know what? It didn't also list what the ports are. That's crazy. Let me try to find the port. Oh, here you go. Okay. No, that's not it. Boy, that's weird that it doesn't list the ports. I mentioned before that I wanted to show you the ports. So we're going to have to go back to these little baby pictures here. Boy, that's small for my eyes here. Okay, so you have a display of the battery capacity on the screen. The screen looks very similar to all the other ones. The E600 and the E2000 and the E1500, the new one. So you have a DC input is on this side, and the DC output is on this side. And you know what? I can't, but boy, they should really list. Hold on, let me see if I can get Google to find some pictures of the system so we can see. Let's see here, pictures, images. Okay. Let's see. Okay, let's hope this is bigger. Is this bigger? Okay, let's see if this is a bigger picture. And of course, I couldn't find it. Boy, guys, I apologize. I assumed it would be on the page. This is a new one that I just found. So, wow, they don't have any pictures of this darn system. All right, so here's one. This is 2000 by 2. Okay, so here you get a little bit. All right, so you have 4 quick charge 3.0s right there. They look like 3.0 QC. Yep, 4 USB-A quick charges, and then you have 3 AC outputs rated at 1500 watts max. Okay, this looks like a ground here, and then you have the vent here, and then this is the on-off. This is the DC on-off button, and this is the AC on-off. So as you see, the screen looks very, very similar, if not identical, to all the other systems that Pecron makes. It seems like they like to reuse the same boards and inverters and things like that throughout their systems, and they have been getting a lot better and stronger with their systems. I've been very pleased with. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 power stations from Pecron, and you know what? I like all of them. I really haven't had any problems with them. There was a problem with the E2000 with the cascading cables. Fixed now. They have the new ones. You can tell the new ones have orange tips on them. If you look at the these pictures here, these are the new cables here, and I'm hoping Pecron will send me some of these because I'd like to test these for you guys and show you. I have modified ones, but you see that little orange part right there? That's their new cables here. So I'd like to test those and see. And guys, please don't pay attention to this picture. I messaged them again. This system is hooked up incorrectly again. It goes from port out to port 1 and then port 2 to port 1. They literally messed up that system picture again because it's always supposed to go to, let's see if I have a picture with the batteries here on the new system. This is a very, yep, okay, so notice that it goes from port 1 to port 2, unless these are backwards. Now, I don't know if they're backwards. But be careful hooking them up, guys. 'Cause that was a big thing also, is Pecron was never good at doing their pictures, guys. But as far as the power stations, though, I like them. And I just wanted to show you guys. I wanted to make another video because, like I said, this one, I overlooked it. I jumped right into this one as the first one I ever got from Pecron because of the expandability options. But wow, the price, 34 cents per watt hour, guys, for an emergency, that's outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. This is 48 cents for an emergency. And then this one, if you add up everything, you'd have to add up, let's see, you'd have to add $8.99 plus 2 batteries, and the batteries right now are 1,400. So let's do $13.99 plus $13.99. So that's, yeah, $3,700. That's definitely cheaper than when I bought it. So you got $36.97, and then you're going to divide that amongst 8,000 watt hours. That's also 46 cents per watt hour. Guys, these are pennies on the dollar as far as to get into these systems. If you went to any other system, Bluetti, EcoFlow, and everything, you're looking 65, 70 cents per watt hour. That is, I think, where Pecron is the strongest point. Is when it comes down to it, guys, you want the watt hours, and then a way to obviously pull that out, which is all the inverters. But the watt hours is what I look at as far as price per watt hour. The average price per watt hour right now in the industry is about $1 per watt hour, $1 per watt hour. So when you ever price a solar panel or a battery or power station or whatever you buy, go by the watt hour first, and then see if that system has the outputs and inputs that you need for your systems. There's a lot of things that I learned that I wish I could have redone. They always say hindsight is 20/20. Because of everything that I learned, I have literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have 11 power stations in this room. And there's obviously money spent that I wish I had reallocated to another system or a different system, depending on the options that I needed at that time. But life is a learning experience, and you just want to don't forget what you learned, because it'll help you in the future. So if you did make a mistake on buying a power station, chalk it up as college. Listen, you don't get paid to go to college, and you're learning an entire new trade. So if you bought either the EB3A by Bluetti, it's a $210 system. That is a steal to learn how to understand what you want and what you need from power stations. The E600 LFP at $300 is a monster steal at that price point to learn what you want and need for a power station. You might only need 6 or 1,200 watts and a 600 watt hour with 400 watts in. That's where the E600 LFP is a monster. You might need an app with your system. This is a learning experience for all of us. That's why I created the channel. That's why I have a scriber family out there. And if you're not a scriber, join, because we all learn this together. And the bottom line is to make more educated decisions on your money and your wallet, because hey, when it comes down to it, none of us are filthy rich. We don't have endless pockets or checkbooks or bank accounts where we can just go, I'll take one of everything on this page or 2 of everything on this page, or things like that. Some of us are very lucky in life. I'm not one of those people. I got to work for a living, as you do too, as most people do. So I always wanted to make this channel to help people make a more educated decision on what power station is right for you. It's possible that none of these are correct for you. No power station, because a lot of people have the assumption, me included, when I first started, well, you buy one of these power stations and then you take the electricity off your house and you say goodbye to the electric company and you live in a white picket fence up on a hill, and then life is beautiful. Solar's not like that, guys. You really have to have a ton, and I mean a ton, of solar power and a ton of battery banks to be able to literally live off-grid, unless you live a very minimalist lifestyle, which is no microwaves, no air conditioning, no TVs, things like that, the big stuff, you know what I mean? 80-inch TVs that use 200 watts or things like that. you know, just all kinds of the big boy toys, if you will. You know, fancy laptop. My laptop, when it's maxed out, uses up to 300 watts. 300 watts an hour. So that would literally destroy the E600 LFP in less than 2 hours. So depending on what you need and what you want with a power station, that's why I made this channel, and that's why it's so important. Education is key before you open your wallet, guys. Okay, so I just wanted to make this video, guys. I know I'm a fan of Pecron, I'm a fan of Bluetti, I'm a fan of a bunch of them, but I really like the price point of Pecron. I think they're unbeatable of any other power station that I've seen out there. Like I said, I have 11 power stations, and not one of those power stations, price per watt hour, has beaten Pecron, especially with a system like this that is literally 34 cents per watt hour. That's a steal. This is a steal. This is a great price, and hopefully this system will live up to the hype too. Alright guys, this is also a fantastic price too. If you guys don't know, I know it's a long video and I apologize, I ramble on. I made 2 links. I made one to the Facebook page for this channel, and I made one to this thing called Buy Me a Coffee. My wife signed me up for this. It's a thing where I can post all the affiliate links that I have with the promo codes, guys. Any way that I can help you save money. I'm linked to like 40 companies now. If I can get promo codes ahead of time, I'll post them when they allow me to post them. And if that can also save you a little bit of money, man, use them. Use the links. Feel free. You know, and if it helps you, you could buy me a hot chocolate or coffee. You don't have to. It's just a nice thing to do. But use those promo codes, guys, because if you could save even 5% of $1,000, that's a lot of money, right, guys? That's 50 bucks. So I'm pretty sure. Let me check my math here. Let's see, minus 95%. Let's see. Yep, 50. It's 50. Save 50 bucks. You know, 50 bucks can buy you something, buy you a tank of gas or something like that. So if you want to use those, it's also on the Facebook. I have that's the top post. It's right there, and it's listed, and it has all the affiliate codes and everything. And if you can use it and save some money, man, feel free, use them. Thank you for helping and support the channel. All right, guys, I'm gonna leave you at this. Check out Pecron. The least you can do is head over there, take a look. If something sparks your attention and you have a question, please feel free to leave a comment on these videos. There's like 600 plus subscriber family on this channel now, and I'm positive that all of them will jump in and help you learn about this stuff. Because that was one of the most tough things when I first started learning. I didn't have any outlets where I could go and discuss this stuff with people and figure out what's best for me, which is why I bought so many power stations. But now that I have this channel, we have this channel as a family, we can all help each other. Alright guys, ramble on, be safe, and I'll see you again at Ramblin Bob Reviews. Bye guys!